Hello, everybody. Welcome to Browns and Beyond, your home for Cleveland Browns content, NFL content, and other sports content. If you're enjoying the show, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you stay locked in with all the latest sports content. Steve and Dave, how's your weekend going so far?
Brent, it's going good. I'm enjoying this nice hot weather in Akron, but things are cooling down a little bit, which I'm happy. It's been real hot July. Now, welcome to August.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily, I like warm weather. Wasn't crazy about that 90-some degree weather, but happy that's down in the low 80s, which is kind of my safe spot. So, yeah, enjoying it as well.
Absolutely. Today, guys, we got a pretty good show. We got 3 different topics, and we're going to start out with the first topic, which is Cleveland Browns camp notes. We're going to give opinions on impact players, key injuries, and what emphasis on how the quarterbacks look so far. Just get a perspective on the QBs, how they're doing. We will start with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, what's your opinion so far on the camp? How's training camp going so far? And what players are kind of making a big impact?
All right, Brent, I am going to start with Mr. Jerry Jeudy. First of all, fellas, I want to say congratulations. He's number 82 on the NFL Network Top 100, which is graded by the players.
Wow.
So he's earning some respect around the whole league. He's been a standout player in training camp for the Browns, and he's helping the young players adapt and getting used to it, and including guys like Cedric Tillman, Dave. He's even helping Mr. Tillman.
Would it be a podcast without a Cedric Tillman reference? I mean, Steve.
Well, it's my only one, so there you go.
Okay.
I'd rather have that than Vrabel talk. So
Correct.
Yeah, we don't need to go back down Big Bean.
Oh, boy.
All right, so Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end out of the Bowling Green.
Yeah.
He's really turning heads around camp, guys. He's looking more like a big receiver than a tight end, and it's been huge. He's been doing some blocking techniques with Myles Garrett. So he's working with Garrett. So, I mean, that shows that, he's going to get some playing time this year, guys.
Yeah, that 2 tight end set could be a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be in there. I have to mention this guy because I did on the last podcast. Luke Floria, wide receiver, but now / punt returner. So now he's got another job in place. This is the guy out of Kent State. This is the Julian Edelman-esque player.
Yeah.
I want to see him make the roster because I believe Michael Woods II was finally released, and thank you. Bye-bye. I mean, you've been injured, but you weren't good even when you were here. So let Luke Floria take that spot, and if he can return punts this year, we really got something going. He's been very impressive with his performance in the drills and his punt returns.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little bit of defense, fellas. Carson Schlesinger, the linebacker, he's taken on a major leadership role. He's the green dot on defense, meaning he might be the guy calling the plays because you got guys out. Jordan Hicks retired, and JOK is out for the year. So someone needed to step in, and he's a rookie, and he's doing just that. And they're saying great things about him at camp.
Steve, did you see that highlight, that hit on Dylan Sampson? Boy, that was something.
I missed that, but
yeah, take a look at it when you get a chance. It's impressive.
he's pretty good, right? I mean,
It's
this guy didn't come from Mars like some. I mean, the guy's looking good. I'm going to get into Denzel Ward. He's been a standout performer in practice, and guess what? He's up for a Defensive Player of the Year if he stays healthy. I know that sounds crazy, but he has pass breakups, defenses. Him and Pat Surtain, who won the award, as you said, Dave, last year.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year was Pat Surtain. This year, Ward has a shot at that, guys. As long as he stays healthy, and that's always the if.
That's the Ward staying healthy. Is that like a thing? I think I've heard that somewhere before.
For him, it really is a thing. He's always missing games.
A major thing.
Or, concussions and this and that. But let's just hope for the best that he can just remain healthy. Now I want to say that MJ Emerson, starting corner, trying to have a bounce back year. He's out for the year with the torn Achilles tendon. That's unfortunate for the Browns.
Yeah.
But what they have to do is someone else has to step up and get in there. And here's what I like. Greg Newsome will now get out of being the nickelback, and he'll start. And that's what he's always wanted. We've always talked about trading him. The trade talk is out. There's no more of that. He's going to be your starting corner, which is what he wants. Let's see how he can perform with that. In the meantime, we have another standout player playing great in camp, getting interceptions, making big plays, even against a lot of the starters. Cameron Mitchell, corner. He is your new nickelback. Look for him to have a good year. He's turning heads in camp, guys. I've been happy with what I've seen, the clips I've seen. So that's about it on the defense. I'm going to get into the quarterbacks now, fellas, for our camp notes here. I'm going to start with Joe Flacco. In training camp, he had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions so far. He is the front runner to start. He's looking smooth. He's looking comfortable. It's kind of like been there, done that.
Yeah, he's familiar with this offense. You can see, yeah.
He's proven Stefanski that Stefanski can trust him, and he knows this offense. I look for him to start. I think Stefanski would be nuts not to do it. I think it's too crazy to start a rookie with a 3-14 team. I mean, if you're the Chiefs and you need to start a rookie, or the Eagles or someone really good, they get away with that. Washington got away with that because they had a good roster. Washington's a top 10 roster, actually. I mean, the Browns are at the bottom.
Right.
So I don't think it'd be great to start a rookie. Now, like we said weeks ago, a few weeks in, then maybe you consider putting the rookie in. But Flacco, you got to start him off rip, or bad things can happen.
Well, I think he's familiar with the system, and I think it makes sense. I mean, and I think for what Stefanski wants to do, Flacco only makes sense. Now, I think the injury situation may have also helped Flacco's cause.
Yes.
That breaks your heart about Kenny Pickett, by the way, Steve.
I'm heartbroken. Are you, Brent?
I really am upset. I thought he really passed the ball really well with that batting glove on. I really thought he looked good out there. And
The batting glove is definitely a good look, by the way.
sorry, that's my value there. For
It's like
Kenny
Happy
Pickett.
Gilmore. He's a hockey player playing golf.
Yeah. All right, back to the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kenny Pickett, I'm going to get into him.
Yeah.
So far, before his injury, he's recovering from a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
But he threw 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception so far. He's on hold. We're watching to see if he could participate in joint practices next week. Stefanski does have him involved in some other drills and things where he can't really move around because he's got the injury, but he's still involved with the team and he's there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I still would love for him to be the trade bait guy. We'll see. Stefanski's acting like this, like, oh, we got to bring him right back. It's like we wanted to kind of see him go bye a little bit.
Do you think Stefanski has a little bit more love for Kenny Pickett than we think he does?
I think he does.
I think he does.
Yeah,
He thinks he's going to transform into Sam Darnold. Pickett was never Darnold to begin with.
I think he thinks. Here's what I think. Okay, I'm going to just tell you what I. Very confident in his statement.
Yeah.
He is done with the bugaboo interception thing that Joe Flacco and Winston did last year.
Right.
He's moving on to more conservative, less big numbers, low turnover kind of guys.
Right.
And he feels like he can mold a guy like Kenny Pickett to be what he wants. Where Flacco, it's Pandora's box has already been open. He won a Super Bowl, but he's got the interception pick 6 bugaboo.
Right.
He's had that for years now. And I feel like that's what Stefanski wants. He wants some of the rookies, and he wants that Pickett. That's what I think, and that's why he didn't want
Pickett will listen
or Flacco number 1.
Pickett will listen to Stefanski, I think. I mean, he's trying to earn a job versus Flacco's a seasoned veteran. Maybe Stefanski wants that fit, someone that he can kind of control.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Flacco, you can't do it. He's a Super Bowl champion.
Flacco's already won a Super Bowl.
But the thing about it is I think he wants an under center quarterback. He does not want that spread him out gunslinger, let's throw the ball around the field. He wants to do under center stuff, play action, bootleg.
100%.
Think of Jake Plummer in the early 2000s on those Denver teams.
But does
somebody
he want,
like that,
But Dave, does he want this though? Does he want to be Pittsburgh Steelers Kenny Pickett? Because I mean, I guess he could say he was 7-3.
No.
They can run the football, play good defense.
Well,
but he's not throwing for a lot of passing yards. But is that what Stefanski wants in his relationship with his quarterback?
Steve, I think he wants that, but I think he wants to take it one step further with that. He feels like he can mold him into whatever the Pittsburgh Steelers had, plus one step above that. That's kind of what I feel. I feel like just like with Flacco and who else did, even Winston, he has helped some of these quarterbacks. He's helped them improve, even if it's just slightly. I feel like that's the situation with Kenny Pickett. Is I feel like he thinks he can get more out of him than the Steelers did. Because Pittsburgh, let's be honest, they haven't really been grooming quarterbacks that well in recent years, have they?
Yeah, and they had a bad offensive
coordinator.
Correct.
I get it.
And then everyone wants to blame the bad offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. I mean, he wasn't good, but Pickett also didn't perform. Anyway, I'm going to go to Dylan Gabriel, guys. That's Brent's favorite. He's thrown 4 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions so far in camp. Here's the deal, though. He's shown that he's learned this playbook and he's been great with it. But now he's human. He's coming back to life now. I mean, he's looking inconsistent as of late. Friday and Saturday, both bad practices. One, he was 3 of 14 in one day. And he's playing with the starters. Yes, he's a rookie. But is that who's going to start on your football team? 3 and 14?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a large enough sample
3
size.
of 14.
He's a guy I really want to see in the preseason game.
Yes, I do.
And Brent, I know you've put some of your eggs in the Dylan Gabriel basket. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Think they're going to hatch?
I don't know. I can't afford eggs nowadays. But, I got to get that HELOC going.
Oh, man.
But in any case, I think that we'll learn more about Gabriel once he's under fire. I mean, that's the long and short of it. I have some other concerns I'm going to get into in a minute with him. But I think with all these quarterbacks, I think preseason's going to be telling here in a lot of different ways. But
yeah, I'm excited for preseason, Dave. Finally, I'm going to go to quarterback 4, and he's always got to be listed last, and that's Shedeur Sanders.
There we
go. He's showing that he's got great arm strength. His decision-making has been outstanding. Another great thing, his ability to extend plays with his legs. I mean, he's out there, he's moving, he's scrambling, and he's making plays with the legs. And coaches love to see that. They're moving him along slowly, though. He is playing, more with these 3rd and 4th strings. I did give him a few reps here and there.
Yeah.
Here's something, too, I want to tell you. Bernie Kosar talked highly of him, which I like Bernie doing that. He said, I love how he's handling some things. He's out here early, and he's one of the last to leave. I think that's a good statement coming from Bernie, who's just about everybody's favorite Browns player, or was, and
certainly
in the 80s,
quarterback,
quarterback position. So that's really saying something. Like I said, the 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, pretty impressive. I mean, he's doing well in camp so far. Here's the deal: he's almost doing so good in a sense with where they're putting him at, where he's pushed to be, that he was held out of practice Saturday for arm soreness. But I think he's going to be okay. So I don't think that's going to be something of a big concern. He's making big throws, and you know what I mean? So things are going to happen. Yeah, give him a day of rest. I think he'll bounce back and do fine. But yeah, I'm going to close it out on that.
All right. Dave, you're up to bat here. What do you think about, got any camp notes for us? Give us some big impact players as well. Who's standing out at camp?
Well, first of all, I do want to touch upon the injury situation. The Martin Emerson situation was bad. Was really hoping for a bounce-back season. He had a great 23, 4th amongst NFL corners with at least 650 snaps. Really played well in 23. And I really thought the key to the pass defense being as strong as it was in 23 is they were able to marry 2 things. Remember, they were able to have 3 really strong corners. You were able to have Emerson, Newsome, and Denzel. Plus, they broke the team record for sacks. I mean, if you want a good pass defense, put together good corners with a good pass rush. That's the 1-2 punch, and that's what we had in 23. We had a D-line that could get after
Number 1 defense.
Right, exactly. We broke the team record for sacks, and we had good cornerback play. Unfortunately, that quarterback play later got exposed, but I digress on that. But so they were hoping for a bounce back. It's nasty that they're going to lose him for the entire season. He had really a down year last year, only ranking 187th amongst quarterbacks according to PFF rankings. I do want to mention the Kenny Pickett hamstring injury. I'm hearing it's just a mild injury. I don't know what you guys are hearing. That
2 weeks out.
I don't think it's very serious. Yeah.
But I think it's enough that he will. It costed him a starting job. Yeah. I do feel that. Dave, do you feel the same way?
It slows his growth, and I think that this may open a door for them to go back to where I think they have to go, which is Joe Flacco. I think they have to.
Well, if a player like Dylan Gabriel is playing inconsistent, it gives Pickett a chance to hop back in there.
Yeah.
I think that Kenny Pickett would have been the starter, regardless of
really?
Yeah, I think it was a done deal. He was the first free agent they signed. Flacco was second. I feel like it's a done deal. Kenny Pickett would be the starter. It wouldn't even be up for debate. Now that this injury has taken place, it allows I would prefer Flacco. But go ahead, Dave.
No,
Continue.
I would. I think that they would have eventually gotten to Flacco, but I mean, you could be right. I mean, we were hearing some good things about Kenny Pickett. I will say overall, just kind of taking a look at it. By the way, I don't know if you guys had heard earlier in the week, DeJuan Jones was carted off. I don't know, maybe the meal plan isn't working out as well as we would hope. But we'll have to monitor that. I don't know if it's serious. We probably would have heard some news if it was, serious. But because they're going to need him to have a big year at tackle to solidify that offensive line.
So we don't know the status on it.
Yeah, we don't know the severity
Okay.
of it. I'm just, one of those things I want to get out there. So if something does come up down the road, just maybe keep that in the back of your mind.
Sure.
As far as the quarterbacks go, I do want to talk about, maybe their progress that we're seeing, over the course of training camp here. Flacco was able to take some first team reps on Tuesday. He hit, 11 for 11, hit a nice deep crossing route. You see that nice arm talent that he had, that 5-game stretch. So he's looking good. Love to see him develop some chemistry with Deontay Johnson. See, he had great chemistry with Cooper in 23.
Yeah.
Can he
he
develop
did.
that same chemistry with Johnson, and obviously with Judy is going to be the big thing going forward. I actually
And Tillman.
yeah, well, that's 2 references.
Okay.
Thanks.
Wow.
I'm done on him.
Pump the brakes, please. So, I mean, that's the big thing with Joe is can he develop the chemistry with the receivers? We're going to see more of that in preseason. My view is unless Flacco has an injury, all right, can we just lay it out here? Unless there's an injury or a major setback with Flacco, he's the starter week 1.
100%.
They'd be crazy not to start him.
Okay.
100%.
I did find it interesting. He says he doesn't see himself as the dad of the locker room. I found that to be an interesting quote. Kind of the mentoring type, which, to be fair, he was in the end, in Baltimore, as we mentioned, with
Helping with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, with Lamar Jackson. So, I find that interesting to see how he works with the rookies as the season moves along. On to Shedeur, he really seems to have picked up some steam as the week moved along. He had some really good signs in practice. He got to play against the first team defense, which he did some good things. He was 6 for 10. He didn't throw a touchdown, but he didn't throw a pick. Earlier in the week, he was 9 for 9 with 2 touchdowns. I think it's encouraging that they got to see what he can do against the first team defense. I'm really interested to see what he does once we get into live game action again. I don't know if there's ever been a bigger preseason in a while for the Browns, especially when you take this quarterback situation into consideration. I mean, just bottom line, because we have to see all of them and we have to see what they can do under live bullets. As far as Dylan Gabriel, the Brent Keaton guy, earlier in the week, he's showed some signs. There was a 6 for 10, per ESPN Cleveland. He didn't throw for a touchdown pass, but from what I'm hearing, and this is the mode for Dylan Gabriel. It's a lot of dink and dunk. It's a lot of roll out short pass, or it's a slant, or it's some crossers, and that's fine. But eventually, he's going to have to show me he can push the ball down the field.
He will in preseason.
All right.
The game's coming. You'll see.
I hope so.
You'll see it. Hey, and I guarantee you, he will look better than Shedeur. But then again,
Okay.
Shedeur's against the fourth string.
We've got the receipts here, folks.
In the last 2
But
days,
I'm telling you right now, he'll look better.
Right.
But I want both of them to do good. I really don't. I want either one of them to be the starter because I think we got to find out. So next year we can make the right decision at quarterback. If
Yeah.
we're going to draft Arch Manning or not.
the only problem with Dylan is his strengths are becoming his weaknesses at the last 2 days. But that's only 2 days, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, with Gabriel, it's bottom line for me. It's this. I mean, he's a runt quarterback that seems to have a water pistol for an arm. I'm sorry.
He may just be a college
He's
quarterback.
accurate. He's very accurate, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on Saturday.
All right. That's, I see what's coming with the Joe Mixon thing downstream. We'll get to that.
We got another thing
Yeah.
coming. Do-do-do.
Oh, my God. Anyways, keep going, Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, those are really my concerns. Can he push the ball down the field? But we'll see in preseason. As far as kind of some impact players, I want to get into that too. Steve mentioned Carson Schlesinger. I was not crazy about this pick when they took him, I have to say, even though he's looking great in camp.
Yeah.
But you can see the need. Now, I didn't know Jordan Hicks was going to retire at the time they drafted him either, to be fair. But we knew about the JOK situation. Also, to be honest with you, My view of the Browns draft was this, and I wasn't the craziest about the Mason Graham pick. I'm going to get into that maybe a little bit.
Oh, really, Dave? Tell me more about that.
Well, hey, but my viewpoint about the Browns draft going into it is if we're not going to take quarterback, just take skill players. Take skill players. Surround your quarterback with a boatload of really good skill players, because there's two ways to do roster construction. Either you find your generational quarterback, or you build up a boatload of talent around offense and you find like a quarterback that's good.
You get one later.
Yeah, and get one later.
Which I prefer that way.
Right.
That's just what I would do.
Right. You build up the roster and then you place the quarterback in a loaded roster. That's what I think Jalen Hurts has been placed in Philadelphia.
Oh, heck yeah.
So, long and short, that's why I was dubious about the Schlesinger pick. I think they have bigger offensive needs. But you know what? He's much needed. I go back and look at it, and also I didn't watch a lot of UCLA last year, to be fair. But looking at it, he played, I believe, at like an All-American level there a year ago. As I say, I looked at his highlights, and his accomplishments are pretty impressive. I would also want to point out a few other things. Kind of looking at it, Greg Newsome, I think, is going to take on a larger role. He's probably going to have to move to outside corner. He had kind of a down 24 compared to 23. Like I said, that triumvirate played really well of Emerson, Ward, and Newsome. We'll have to see how he works at outside corner. Remember that Houston game was not pretty for him. That if you take away anything from the poor defense,
we got lit up.
They totally toasted him in that game.
I know.
And that defense got exposed. Brent Keaton saw his mirage, and unfortunately Browns fans saw that too. Overall, I think the quarterback situation continue to be interesting, and I can't wait till we get into preseason and see these quarterbacks under live bullets. But those are my overall thoughts.
All right, Dave, good job there. And we're heading into the next topic, and that is the position groups. And this week we are going to get into the defensive line. We're going to get into the views on the starters, the overall depth, and what we expect out of this group in the 2025 season. And we will start with Mr. Steve Retzer. Steve, what is your take on the defensive line and the kind of the overall expectations of that group?
All right, Brent. First off, I'm going to say, guys, the Browns operate a 4-3 based defense under Jim Schwartz. It's a wide 9 scheme.
Right.
It's anchored by Myles Garrett and supported by some savvy veterans and some promising young talent. Jackie Cesar is the defensive line coach there. I'm going to get into the starters a little bit here. Your top dog, left defensive end, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
Have you guys heard of him?
Yeah, he's actually a fairly wealthy guy right now, from what I've heard.
He got paid.
Yes.
He got paid.
He got his bag.
Well, guys, he is a defensive player of the year candidate every year. Expect frequent double teams on him, and they're going to hold this guy like crazy. You guys agree there that they just hold him too much?
I know you say that, Steve. I just have to say this, and Ferman always says this, and I've got to be fair here. Every team complains about holding. It's like a thing, And as he has said to me on numerous occasions, they literally could call holding on every play. If you break it down,
if you watch the game close, you will see it. Everybody.
I just feel that he gets unfair treatment more than the other players. That's my opinion on it. Not to be biased.
You're not biased
because he's the best player.
And he's going to get double teamed, triple
teamed.
teamed. Yeah, we get it.
Anyway, Jim Schwartz anticipates this to be a big season for him. They're going to line him up in other places. I mean, remember a couple of years ago, guys, he was blocking kicks and everything.
Right.
They might line him up in different spots, but that left defensive end spot is mostly his area. Now our left defensive tackle is Malik Collins. He's going into his 10th season, formerly with the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. Last year in 24, he had 5 sacks and 33 tackles last year. He's tailor-made for Jim Schwartz's system because he's got strong pass rushing skills and pocket disruption.
Probably going to be needed with, maybe the situation inside with the health.
Because Hall, I'll get into Mike Hall. He should be starting, but Collins fills that void until we hear more on Hall and his injury. I'm going to get into right defensive tackle, and we talked about him a little bit. That's Mason Graham, number 5 guy. pick out of Michigan. I know you hate hearing
This is
that
a Green
word.
Show guy.
Do we have to say that word? It's so nasty.
Guy.
Well, I just had some breakfast, and
I heard Mason Graham will be at the basement tonight, and I guess he's going to want to talk to Mr. Greenshield. They seem like they're going to sing Kumbaya and hold
They might
hands.
get along pretty well.
Can I get a Kumbaya reference? Oh my God. Shout out to Kumbaya.
The world peace is going to happen tonight at the basement.
Yeah, well-
Hey, Dave will have nothing bad to say.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
Well, one good thing going for Mason Graham is he was listed as the best defensive tackle in the whole draft.
Yeah.
He has Pro Bowl potential.
Operative word, potential.
Myles Garrett is a fan. He should be expected to stop the run. It's been a long time Browns issue. That's really why they picked this guy. Earlier in the OTAs, he was actually caught throwing up on camera, so everyone was worried, is he out of shape? Can he not do it? But actually, they're saying he's been one of the standout players. And if Myles Garrett's working with you, then you know he's an important piece there. And now I'm going to get into right defensive end, Isaiah McGuire. I'm trying to be high on the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, there's high hopes from coaches and fans alike. You know, he was drafted out of Missouri. He showed last year. He showed a big improvement after the Browns traded Zadarius Smith.
There were a few flashes there, but I don't know if it was enough for me.
With Garrett drawing all those double teams and holding them, McGuire should be expected to get to the quarterback more. We should at least see something out of the guy.
True.
And he's young. He's got legs. He should be able to.
Well, that's the thing is I always think of like you want two good defensive ends in the same way you want two good wide receivers. So you can't double team the one guy, and you know what I mean? Like you have your alpha number one. It's like Cincinnati has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You can't just double team Chase because Higgins will go up. You know, if you double team Miles, you need another guy that can step up on the other side and get to the quarterback. So as far as that goes, I mean, and I don't think you need a dominant guy, but you need a guy that can get 8, 9, 10 sacks a year, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That would not be bad. If he can get 9 or 10, I'd be happy with that.
Oh, I would be ecstatic, yeah.
All right, I'm going to get into the backups, guys. Alex Wright, he backs up Myles Garrett. He shows promise at 23 before his injuries in 24. We'll see if he can bounce back and play a little better. I want to get into Mike Hall Jr.
Yes. Pride of Streetsboro.
Ohio State guy. Yeah. As we know, he was suspended 5 games, and then he played a little bit. He played well. And then, unfortunately, he suffered a serious knee injury. So he's supposed to bounce back, and we'll see. But there's no timeline on that yet. There's been nothing set. But he should start if he gets back in that role. And then Collins would be the backup rotational player. I got to get into Shelby Harris. I mean, he's a big fella. He's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big boy. But I mean, is there any big impact there, Steve? You tell him.
Do you know that many people are saying he's having a great camp?
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing. I haven't been there to watch it with my own eyes.
Until I see it on the field from Shelby. I'm not, okay.
But he brings a veteran presence. He can rotate. He could split some snaps with even Mason Graham. I mean, he could get, you could see different. He's going to be in there. He's going to have his shot. He's not too bad. In closing, I want to get into Joe Triton Shoyinka. He's expected to back up McGuire. I mean, that's a hard guy.
That name right, Steve.
I hope I said that right. I mean, sometimes pronouncing's not one of my best skills, but
there you go.
But he was a former linebacker with Tampa Bay, and now he's transitioning into the 4-3 scheme, wide 9 scheme. So we'll see if this guy can do anything. I hope so, because we're going to need that. I mean, if someone goes down, someone's got to be able to step up, and let's hope he could be the guy to step up. So in closing, I think the defensive line is a strong point for the Browns, and we need to get back to that 23 season and forget about the 24. Injuries or not, players got to be able to come in, step up, be ready to play. And let's hope that happens.
Agreed.
All right, Steve. All right, and Dave Greenshield, what's your overall take on the defensive line position group? Let's get into that a little bit. What's your overall take and expectations for the 2025 season?
Actually, Steve, just to kind of pick up where Steve just left off, I actually think this has a chance to be the best position group on the team. I mean, obviously, you start there for an obvious reason. The best player on the team is in this position group, so that's probably easy to say. And let's start there. The best defensive end in pro football, Myles Garrett. We talked about the contract situation in our previous podcast. I mean, what more can you say about a guy that's had 10 or more sacks 7 years in a row? Back-to-back seasons of 14 sacks, 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. The interesting thing to me about this group, and Steve touched on it, I'm going to get into it as well, is what's surrounding Myles Garrett on this group and how it performs will tell us how dominant and just how good a defensive line we can have. I'm going to start, I'm going to start on the interior. I'm going to start with my favorite guy, Mr. Mason Graham. Okay.
Out of where?
Yes. Well, I call him scum or the team up north. So, now, I don't know if we have a heavy contingent of that fan base listening to our podcast, but, to you, enjoy.
Nothing bad is going to be said about him. Let me promise you.
Well, here's the thing. I actually thought he was a very good player in college. I think he was worthy of being a first-round pick, maybe a top 15 pick. But top 5 pick, okay, I'll just outline it. If I'm taking a top 5 pick, I want a guy that can play 10 years, make 5 or 6 Pro Bowls. I don't say has a Hall of Fame career, but I'm saying it's like a borderline Hall of Fame career.
Yes.
At least close to that level. And here's my thoughts about Mason Graham. I agree with you, Steve. I think he can help improve the run defense because if you saw, I'm not going to talk about that game in late November. Don't bring that up again, Brent, please. I lived that nightmare.
Oh, my God.
But, hey, we bounced back and won the national championship.
Got a natty out of it.
Exactly. I got the
You got the shirt on.
Got the shirt on.
I got the shirt to prove it.
You might have paid for that natty, though.
Hey.
Landscape has changed.
It has changed. We're living in a different world.
Yes. Yep.
We're
Go
living
ahead.
in a
Keep
different
going.
college football world. Yeah, well, the Browns, Steve kind of mentioned, I'll go there. The run defense needs to be improved. 21st last year against the run. I think that was the reasoning behind the pick. But as far as the dominance goes with Mason Graham, I don't see it from a pass rush standpoint. 6.5 sacks combined over 2 seasons up there. And that's what I'm saying. If I'm taking a top 5 pick at defensive tackle, think of even like a Sue or Gerald McCoy, who had some dominant years in Tampa. Think of a dominant defensive tackle. I just don't know if Graham gets to that kind of level. And if I'm taking a guy top 5, I want that kind of level.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to do that. But if we can stop the run,
That's
gonna
what
make me
Steve was
happy.
saying. He thinks he's a run stopper, and that has been a weakness, guys.
It's been a huge weakness.
We
have no-name guys getting 100-yard rushes against us. Atlanta a couple years ago.
Remember the Raiders? Didn't the Raiders kind of torch us on the
They
ground?
all torch us pretty much.
Well, that was
you're right, Steve.
That was the one thing. I mean, give Barry credit. Remember, he brought in Richardson and some of those other guys along the defensive line. And in 23, we really did shore up our run defense. Obviously, the defensive line.
Tomlinson.
Yeah, the defensive line played at an extremely high level, and that was obviously a big reason they had the season that they did defensively. I want to talk about my guy, Mr. Mike Hall. Mr. Buckeye. There we go.
Mr. Buckeye.
This guy I really liked coming out of Ohio State. By the way, I want to say this. I'm really friendly with his high school football coach. Shout out Coach Pete. Who, by the way, Steve,
who's that?
Yeah, my buddy, Coach Pete. I need him to make some high school football
I was just going to say,
I know.
you sound like Steve Retzer right now.
I'm going to. Not today, but I will.
My mom's cousins, my cousin's mom, and all this stuff. And
Hey, I thought we were high school football friendly around here. I run into this Brett Keaton guy, and maybe not so much.
Tell me about.
Are you guys going to buddy up after this and be best friends because you guys got these
starting to
connections?
agree on a lot
and I don't
of
have
things lately.
Hey, and I don't have anybody. I have nobody.
Steve, I'll introduce you to Coach Pete.
Okay, thanks. Can I get my 3-point stance with them?
Shout out Coach Pete Thompson.
All right. You guys.
He had a rough start last year. The 5-game suspension didn't help things. Obviously he had a knee injury. He's had some health problems actually going back to Ohio State. He did show the flashes, though. I don't know if you saw it in those 8 games, Steve, where he was, getting into the backfield, making plays. Some of what you saw at Ohio State, you did see over the course of those 8 games.
He did well in that time he was in there.
Yeah. And then it was unfortunate. The last game of the year, in a 0-0 game against Baltimore, he gets hurt. So, that,
go figure.
Yeah, that wasn't a good sign. Starting the year on the PUP list, also not good. The opposite defensive end position is an interesting one. As I was kind of saying, you need a solid number 2, at least an 8-9 sack guy. Isaiah McGuire, can he build off at the end of last season? Well, he played 172 snaps after, we traded Smith to the Lions. He's got to improve. 17 sacks, a half a sack. He forced a fumble. We got to see a little bit more than that, Steve. I'm sorry. Especially over the course of the season. We'll see if he can make some progress. I want to be optimistic, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more production in those 172.
And they got rid of Oko. Obi, I can't believe they got rid of that guy.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi there. Okay. Oh my God.
There's your Star Wars reference.
Okay.
Hey, me and Brett love Star Wars.
Oh man. All right.
Well, and they, Steve, I'll mention the depth pieces. Joe Tryon, I'm just going to leave it at Joe Tryon. He's at defensive end, 5th-year pro, 4 seasons in Tampa. A starter the last 3 years. Now, he never registered more than 5 sacks. But, he could be a rotational guy. Maybe you rotate him and McGuire on that side.
Yeah.
Maybe you get combined.
Maybe he'll fit in the Schwartz defense better than he did in that different Tampa.
Yeah, and the Tampa
ran a 3-4 defense.
Yeah.
We're doing a 4-3.
The Y9 might help him to be, up those sack numbers. Maybe you're right. Malik Collins is really the key guy, Steve. Going into his 10th year in the league. He is on his 5th team over that period of time. So
that's a lot of teams.
He's been a starter at all those stops. And obviously with the Mike Hall situation, they're going to need him to really perform. So we'll see if he can step up. He's a veteran. He's done it before. Overall, I think it's a really good group. I know a lot of people are aren't fans of these folks. And I'm going to make reference to them later in the show. I don't know if you use any PFF, Steve, or have you ever looked at some of their rankings for how they grade line play or anything like that?
Yeah, I've looked at it a little bit.
Yeah, they do actually a really good job of ranking line play. And going into the season, they ranked the Browns the 7th best defensive line in all the NFL. So they think very highly of the group.
That's pretty good.
I do think if they can play at that level, that's the path for the Browns getting back to that maybe close to top 10 defense in 2025. But overall, I think there's some really good talent in this group, and I'm optimistic.
Okay. Dave, thanks for that. All right, we're going to get into our final topic, guys, and that is we're going to talk about the top 5 NFL running backs. And we're going to go ahead and get into that that topic with Mr. Dave Greenfield. What is your top 5 running backs? And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go off previous years, but we're also projecting, the top 5 running backs like right now into this season. How they're going to do, and we're going to go top 5, and we're going to go 5 to 1 in that order. Okay. So what's your 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st? Dave, we'll start with yourself.
Yeah. I've got some guys that I'm really optimistic about that are going to be really big performers last year, and I think going to be really big performers going forward. The guy that I'm going to start with that I really, really liked, actually was thinking about even maybe ranking this guy higher because I think his future is going to be great. Is Bijan Robinson. He made a really nice jump from 23 to 24. He went from a very solid rookie year at 976 yards to where he went over 1,400 yards last year with 15 total touchdowns. He also showed he could handle the workload, over 300 carries. This is a back I really like coming out of Texas. I don't know if I would have taken him with the 8th pick in the draft. A lot of people, do you ever take running backs that high? Because it's kind of, we're in such a passing league right now that, running backs have to some degree become obsolete, but I think they're making a comeback. Obviously, Saquon Barkley helped carry a team to a Super Bowl. I'm going to get to him in a minute.
Oh,
yeah. So he runs with power, although he's got the speed 4.4, 6, and 40. He's an excellent receiver, 58 receptions as a rookie, 61 last year. He's running behind a pretty solid offensive line, the 8th ranked offensive line, according to our buddies at PFF coming into the season. I would continue to expect him to get a heavy workload, especially considering it's early in his career, and he should have a very bright future toting the rock in Atlanta. My number 4 pick is going to be Mr. Josh Jacobs. Nice comeback season for this guy. He was able to show some renewed life in Green Bay. A fairly down year in 23. He only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. But to be fair, he did miss 4 games in 23. I love his physical running style. He can run through tackles. I really think he fits best You know, Matt, if we did an honorable mention for coaches, I think Matt LaFleur would be in my honorable mentions. I always think he's a coach that just doesn't get enough credit. I don't know if you feel the same way, Steve, but I think, especially now that he's starting to win with a second quarterback, too, which is something.
Yeah, with Jordan Love, he's doing good.
Yeah. So, and I think he wants to have a balanced offense there. Again, I like his physical style because he can run in between the tackles. The other thing that has to be mentioned is he's really the main back. He racked up over 300 carries as well for the second time in his career. I expect him to take a solid workload this year. He's only 27 years old, so he's still below that 30-year-old barrier. And I think he's got plenty of carries left in him, and I expect another great season out of him in Green Bay. My number 3 pick is going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, and I was actually really thinking about this guy for 2. I really loved him. I don't know if you guys watched a lot of college. I did. I saw him play a lot of games at Alabama, and I was very impressed. This guy, the guy that he always reminds me of, I got a comp here, guys, Alvin Kamara with the Saints, like prime peak Alvin Kamara.
He was good for a number of years.
That dual threat running back.
Yeah.
He's caught over 52 passes out of the backfield each of the last 2 seasons. Love his style, great cuts. He's got that home run speed, which I love. 4.3 in the 40. He's been in a shared carry backfield with our buddy David Montgomery the last 2 years prior to Toledo. Although his carries did go up from 182 to 250 in 24, I definitely think it helps Gibbs, to be in this loaded offense. They have a great passing game. Goff, some talented receivers, and again, according to our buddies at PFF, one of the actually 2 best offensive lines. Now, they did have some losses on that offensive line this year, so they might not be as dominant a group as they were a year ago. And by the way, offensive coordinator John Morton says he should have an even bigger load in 2025. He's a versatile player, and I expect a big year out of him this year. So keep him in mind, fantasy owners. Number 2, King Henry. It's amazing what this guy is doing at 30. And he's 31 now. So let's hear it for 31-year-old running backs.
I love
How
it.
many 31-year-old running backs you see doing this?
I love it.
Yeah. Well, to be 31 again.
Oh, boy.
This is supposed to be when running backs are past their prime and in decline. I actually thought about moving him down a little bit because I'm waiting for him to hit the wall. I'm waiting for the decline.
He hasn't.
But it hasn't happened.
Not King Henry.
Yeah. Until he proves me wrong, I'm keeping him here. I saw an interesting stat that really demonstrates his style. He forced 89 missed tackles in 2024. Again, shout out to our buddies over at PFF. No doubt, he runs with power, 1,921 yards. So he was like 80 yards away from his second 2,000-yard season of his career. Think about that.
Unbelievable.
By the way, the most impressive part about his style, I like to mention their running style, he's got that great stiff arm. I love it when he throws defenders away. Maybe not Cleveland Browns defenders. Don't do that. He's maintained really good production, 6 times over 1,000 yards in 7 seasons, 11,000 yards. No doubt he added a great dimension to the Ravens offense, and I still expect a very productive season in 2025 out of him. Number 1, I just had to go here because of what he did last year, and that's Saquon Barkley. I think we have to just say, guys, I mean, if there ever was a dream season for a running back, like if you dreamt up the type of season you would want as a running back, dream up what Saquon Barkley did last year, right?
But I think he could have had better seasons if he wasn't on the Giants. I think that stunted his growth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I feel
He
like
had some injuries in New York.
Yeah. Yes, that didn't help.
And don't forget, Daniel Jones, his struggles made it kind of a one-sided thing there. So he couldn't
He was
really
their
open
best
it
player,
up.
but
Yeah.
this was a dream year for him. You're right, dude.
Yeah, well,
Unbelievable.
I was going to say, somewhere Giants management is punching air. There has got to be.
They didn't want to pay him. Joe Scone, the GM,
Yeah.
he didn't want to pay him. He had him on the phone, and you know he wanted to be a Giant. He goes, Coach, I want to stay here, and they didn't want to pay him. Isn't that unbelievable?
What is Daboll thinking, or what is
They didn't
Giants
want to pay him.
ownership thinking?
Unbelievable.
Well, and there's a lot of people that don't want to pay running backs. To be fair, Steve, eventually they feel they get a few years out of them.
They wanted to pay their stacked defensive line and not their running back.
Yeah, well, they need to find a quarterback there, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
For a different
Russ.
day.
That's another podcast.
Will Russ be cooking? Yeah.
Yeah, I doubt it.
think Russ will cook.
Yeah, I think Russ is going to start burning things in that kitchen.
Burning in the kitchen. You don't want that.
Just real briefly to overview last season for him, real briefly. He had over 2,000 yards, He went over. He had 14 games where he went over 100 yards, including the playoffs, which is just amazing. I know we talked about that special game that he had against the Rams last year in the playoffs, where I think he just carried that team to victory in that game. Again, a case can be made if you factor in the postseason. Could that be the greatest season a running back's ever had? A case could be made.
Yes.
I really don't see any signs of him slowing down. I know there's some injury problems in his future. He's playing in a great offense. Again, going into the season, according to our buddies, the best offensive line in football. A lot of talent around him at receiver. Hurts, as long as Hurts can be competent throwing the football. You saw once Hurts is just competent, this offense is really unstoppable.
Yeah. And bottom line is this: they get the best. Dave, would you say it? Yeah. They get the best offensive line and the best defensive line in football.
Yeah,
like they probably got both sides, or maybe offensive line. If it's not number one, it's probably top 5.
Yeah. If I could pay any GM in the world, it's Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows he built 2 rosters to win 2 Super Bowls with 2 different quarterbacks. None of which, either one, I don't think extremely highly of in Foles and Hurts.
Well, he worked on the line.
The Eagles are good every year. I mean, they were good.
It's kind of what you were saying earlier, Dave, about building the roster.
Yeah.
Get those parts right, and then build your skill players.
Well, Detroit's kind of trying to do that same thing. They built a loaded roster around golf.
I mean, Philadelphia was good with Doug Peterson, but a few years back.
Yeah.
And now great with Sirianni. They always seem to do the right things. I wish the Browns could do that.
Yeah, well, we wish. We live in hope, Steve. It'll be difficult for him, obviously, to reach the 2,000-yard mark, needless to say, folks. But as long as health is on his side, he should still be a strong, productive back, especially in this offense. I think he'll have another great year.
Okay. Steve, all right. Give me the top 5 NFL running backs, and we will start, in 5-1. That's it.
All right, Brent. At number 5, I have Josh Jacobs for the Packers. He's 27 years old, so he's not real old. He rushed for 1,329 yards rushing and 15 touchdowns. He's a well-rounded back with elite running and receiving abilities. He's known for his durability and his consistency. I think he's going to help Jordan Love with that real strong receiving core.
Yeah.
I mean that's really going to help out. He can still be the guy for a few years there.
Just one thing real quick, not completely. Yeah, you mentioned it, so I'm going to go there, so I guess it's not completely off topic. Are you a Jordan Love fan?
I'm not a huge Jordan Love fan. I kind of like that. I like the purple team. I like the purple team in the division. We'll get into that more, Dave. Minnesota.
Like, if we did top 10 quarterbacks, would you have had Love at like 11 or 12? Or...
I would.
Okay.
I would. He wasn't in my top 10, but
I would have had him somewhere in the 11 to 13.
Okay.
I feel like he struggled last year.
Yeah.
And I think some of that, I think he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, well, they did have a key injury at receiver going into the playoff. They were also in the wrong division. I mean, go try and win that division with a team winning 14 games.
Yeah, no kidding.
Detroit and Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean,
Detroit and Minnesota. Good luck. I think he's on the upswing, Jordan Love.
I do. I think they can be a little bit better at receiver, and maybe that would have made the difference of them making a better playoff.
Yeah, they're loaded with receivers. I believe they drafted one or two receivers.
I love that
receiver
they took out of Texas.
Golden or something.
Yeah. Continue, Steve.
Okay, guys, number 4, I have Jonathan Taylor. I don't think he's on anyone else's list. He's 26 years old. Last season, he rushed for 1,431 yards. He had 11 touchdowns. If he's healthy, that's the big if. He's injury prone, guys. That's the only problem. But he's a fantasy football favorite. He's your dream. That's who you want to draft
still
if you're in the
fantasy. Still got a solid
fantasy.
offensive line, too, by the way, in Indy. So still a good group.
And one thing, he's more important of a running back to his team than I feel the other players are. The other players are loaded with great players, whether there's receivers, quarterback, defense. The Colts rely on this guy a lot. I mean, you need him, basically. I mean, and then their quarterback controversy, what they got going is between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones, of the former Giant.
So AR.
I want to see Richardson start. I told Brent always I liked him. You know, he came out of Florida.
I think he sucks.
I like him.
He's not any good.
He's got a lot of work to do. I would like to see him be the starter, guys. But if you're handing the ball off to Jonathan Taylor, that puts you in a little better position.
I agree with Mr. 2011. You know, my
God. The year of greatness.
But I mean, it was a small sample size out of Florida, though. I mean, I don't understand.
It was small.
I mean, Go ahead.
Well,
He's a big guy. He likes that.
Yeah, you thought he could do something.
Is he another guy that's coming to this reunion where all these people that suck, go to Vrabel and
Anthony Richardson. Mike Vrabel's eating the baked beans. I'll share some watermelon with the Anthony Richardson.
Oh my
We're
God.
gonna have a big party. We're gonna have a big party.
In the interest of getting it in this podcast, Anthony Richardson's a soft sucker.
Oh no! They stole the glory. No,
I feel like all your
I like
wannabe.
Richardson. Come on,
It's just
come
like
on.
a Steve Retzer posse of all these players that suck. They go to your reunion.
Hey,
come on.
it's like he's playing pee-wee football every once in a while. He needs a little break. He's got to tell coach, take me out. But I'll go, even though I'm the starter in the NFL, but I'll go back in a couple more plays. Remember, he did do that,
There's
fellas.
this thing called accuracy I'd like to see from time to time. I don't know. I hear that's
Hey,
important.
he could throw a bomb, though. He could throw an 80-yard bomb. All right, guys. At number 3, I have Jahmyr Gibbs. So me and Dave are a little similar on a few of these picks. What I love about him, he's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
He rushed for 1,412 yards, and he had 16 touchdowns as a runner. And then, as Dave mentioned, 52 catches, that 517 yards, and 4 receiving touchdowns. I mean, these numbers are pretty amazing. Despite the split carries with Dave Montgomery. But get this, guys. He led the whole NFL with 20 touchdowns. That's combined all together. Pretty. His workload, like you said, Dave, is really going to increase.
Yes.
The next one I got, number 2, is Saquon Barkley. He's only 28 years old, as we said.
Number 2, right?
You have him number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Get this, boys. I have Barkley at 2, believe it or not.
Okay.
Let me get to why.
Did you download the meme coin for King Henry, Derrick Henry? Are you like part of the coin? If I go to Coinbase, you got all the stock in that, right?
Yeah, give us your rationale between not picking him number 1.
Okay, so we'll get into the numbers. I know he had the year of his dreams: 2,005 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. Here's my opinion. All right, I'm going to say it.
Go ahead.
He overachieved. He was behind one of the best offensive lines of football, one of the best rosters in football, one of the best coaching staff. You allude to Howie Roseman is great,
yeah.
and he is.
Right.
But I mean, it's like everything was on like a silver platter for him. Like all he had to do was run through the hole. I mean, maybe you could have ran through that hole. Me and Brent could have maybe ran through some of those holes.
I don't know about that.
Especially that Rams game. Now, I don't know if we could have wheels like that.
Don't pump the brakes on that.
I mean, some of those holes were humongous. I think anyone could have ran through those things, man. I mean, he's a great back. I still got him as the second best back in the whole league. I get it.
Greatest season a running back ever had. I think the case can be made.
And I think also, to be honest, his performances with the Giants with a bad team were still good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
come on, man. It's not like
he was a really good player even before.
Yeah. So I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
go ahead.
that he did held that single game rushing record, 255 yards in that Rams playoff game. He was a lead in that.
Yeah.
If he wasn't so injury prone, I'd make him number 1.
Okay.
But that's where I got him, guys. That's what I'm going to say on Barkley. And number 1,
Go ahead.
King Henry.
Stake your case.
Derrick Henry. He's the youngest looking 31-year-old running back I have ever seen.
Right.
I mean, most of them declined. Some even declined at 28, 29, definitely by 30. This guy, here's why I put him number 1 and put him above Barkley. He just hasn't slowed down. Do you guys know this? He has been a top 5 running back for 5 consecutive seasons. I mean, years ago it was him and Nick Chubb were the best.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that was like years ago now. He's still the top dog. I know you said Barkley, but to me, he's still a top guy. He's playing like he's 25, not 31. He'll share the runs with Lamar Jackson. I mean, his elite size, his strength, and that stiff arm is just brutal. And guys just bounce off of him. He's almost like Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. They just and they just bounce right off of him. I mean, the guy's
I'm here
beast.
for Tecmo Bowl references.
Please give us more of those.
I think you got to make him number 1. because he's so dominant. Until he falls off, the guy's number one.
I feel like you're getting a check delivered to Sackett Avenue every month from the Henry Incorporated.
Well, you guys know I'm not a Ravens fan,
Well,
so
but by the way, he's surrounded with
I made some good points, did I
Well,
not?
he's surrounded with a little bit of talent, by the way. That Baltimore offensive line is not bad, and Lamar's one of the 2 or 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL in a lot of people's view. So,
yeah.
Mr. Keaton.
All right, we're going to get to mine. I'm going to be very brief on this. Plus, I don't want a lot of arguments because, you get this is going to...
you're getting
we got to wrap this up.
Let's go.
So, anyways,
Let's hear
number 5. This, by the way, my list is simply this is the rebound year. Some of these guys said, they had an off season last year.
Off.
And they might not even play. And I think this year they're going to rebound. At number 5, we're going to go with Mr. Joe Mixon.
Well,
So, Steve,
I need to clean out my ears here.
Who?
in 24, he had 1,000 rushing yards, 8 touchdowns, 38 receptions, 296 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. So, yeah, he did okay. Number 4, Josh Jacobs. So, and then number 3, Christian McCaffrey.
Talk about bounce back.
Yeah.
McCaffrey.
And number 2, I have Miss King Henry.
Okay.
And number 1, Mr. Barkley. So,
yeah,
just to kind of get into some of this real quick, McCaffrey in 23 finished his first full season with the Niners, leading the league in rushing, 1,459 yards on 339 touches. I think he had a good season. I know last year injury prone.
Yeah.
We also know about that. I think that kind of wraps up my list. Pretty good.
Any consideration for Gibbs, by the way? I mean,
Maybe
I need to see
next
more.
year.
I think that with him, because what did he? Isn't last year kind of his big year?
Right.
But then the year before that, nothing.
He split the carries with Montgomery.
That's the thing.
Montgomery got hurt.
Yeah,
Gibbs stepped up.
I think as Montgomery gets more and more phased out, I think Montgomery's the epitome of just a very solid in between the. It's kind of a little bit of thunder.
Montgomery will go somewhere else. Gibbs will be the feature back in the future.
Yeah.
I think bottom line with him, the reason why, and the Bijan, I just need to see more. I need to see. I think the other guys had a little more of a track record. As far as I understand,
Trust their trajectory, though.
I understand that, and I understand why you did pick it.
Yeah,
I know that they had better stats than some. I just feel like some of the guys I picked, they have a longer a track record.
Okay.
And I think they're going to bounce back this year. So that's kind of why I had them on my list. So,
okay.
All right, guys. Final thoughts for episode 7. We will go to Steve. Steve, what do you think of the episode, and any final thoughts?
Well, guys, I think we had a lot of fun on this episode. I had fun, that's for sure. I like talking that defensive line, because that's our best attribute this year. So, that's what I got to say on it, guys.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, guys. I think we wanted to talk about the quarterback situation, the Browns training camp. I think that was important. Guys, you probably talk about, as we said, the best position group on the team, and always fun doing these top 5s. I did enjoy talking about the running backs this week, so that was enjoyable as well.
All right, guys. You have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care.